Hi guys and girls, John Moore with you again, and we're doing an unboxing today. Today's unboxing is the Panzer Kampfwagen 4 Ausf D. Excuse me. It's 135 from the 135 military miniature series. It's ready to assemble precision model kit, many accessory parts, and it comes with 3 figures. So the box art is very basic, as a lot of the Tamiya stuff is. It just gives a nice drawing of the Panzer 4. It's the short barrel one, and there's really, as you know yourself, there's nothing really on the boxes of these things. They don't go in much for the box art, and I don't speak Japanese, so can't really talk that much about the box art. So we're not really interested in the outside of the box, but we are on what's inside the box. And what do we get inside the box? We get one bag with a sprue. We get a second bag with 2 sprues. We get a third bag with another sprue. We get a lower hull. We get 2 vinyl, rubber, whatever tracks. We get 2 sets of instructions, one in Japanese, which today I don't use, one in English, and the usual little thing telling you about the dangers of melting plastic, and if you are, only use the one with the PS mark, polystyrene. And you can stretch that and it won't affect your lungs. Stretch the other stuff and it will, apparently. So anyway, let's get the box out of the way and we'll start. And what do we start with? Well, first of all, I'll just change the angle of that slightly and we'll zoom in a bit. There we go. Have that set now. Start off with the tracks. Now, will that find the track in my hand? There we go, look at that. Right, the tracks, they're nothing to write home about, but then again, the detail on them is actually quite nice. The only problems I do have, and I never really had a problem with them before, but I do have a problem with these rubber tracks lately, as in there's no detail at this side, but this time there is slight little bits of detail. At least it shows the break up in the thing, and it gives a little bit of the guide horns, you know, a little tiny little bit of detail there, which a lot of the time these things are just blank, and it's not that nice. And I think that is probably why people started to buy the aftermarket. But with these ones now, I don't see any point in buying aftermarket. They're thin enough, or should I say they're thick enough, and they seem to be quite okay. So that's the tracks. We get 2 of them, funnily enough. We get our lower hull. And as you can see, it's one of those ones that was designed for the remote control and the batteries and things. Again, hull detail. It's actually quite okay. You know, it gives a little sort of a weld bead down at the bottom here, and the details at the back are quite nice. And there's the front, another one of those little holes to fill up, and they're actually quite easy to fill up. Just block off this side, bit of filler, send it down. There's no hassles in them whatsoever. And in here, you just really have to kind of fill the hole, because the wheel is going to be there anyway. It's just so you don't have a gaping gap, so you don't have to be so precise filling this one. So that's the tub. Now let's get on to the screws, right? Then we've got staples, so we have to be careful with the staples. They might ping off and ruin my marriage prospects, but since I'm 50 and I'm not going to get married again, I don't have to worry about that then. Anyway, we take away our plastic so we don't smother anybody. And we start off, we've got sprue C. Sprue D. I was looking it upside down. Yeah, sprue D. And with sprue D, we've got, it appears to be some turret parts Tow cables, we get 2 of our chaps, the bucket, some spare tracks, and some jerry cans. Now, the jerry cans are quite nicely moulded. Our chappies, let's have a look at these. Let's have a look at the chaps and see how good or bad they are. Right, facial expressions seem to be okay. That chap there, God, he looks as if he's about to start bawling his eyes out, the poor chap. I think this guy robbed his Kit Kat. He's kind of a smug look about him anyway. He doesn't look too happy, but he's there anyway, and that guy should be the one that's not happy. He's no arms. Anyway, that's 2 of the figures and bits and pieces for the turret and things. Details, they're quite good. Seeing as I don't know exactly where pieces are going yet, I can't really say how good or how bad they are. I do know that that's the outside of the turret basket, whatever they call it. And we've got some little openings and hatches and things. Ejector pin marks all seem to be at the back. They don't all seem to be that big. So even if you have to remove them, they're quite easy to remove. Now, that's sprue D. We have a bag here with 2 screws in it. I'll just open the other bag with the 1 screw. And that we have our decals, which I leave to the side. And we've got a plastic bag with wheel suspension and things like that. We've also got a little sprue of polycaps. Like the polycap idea, very, very nice. It means you can put it on dry fit or take it apart very easy for painting if you want to paint the wheels separate and things. Excuse me. But there's the drive sprockets. Okay detail on them, the bolts look quite nice. And the general moulding and things around the wheels, it seems quite nice indeed. There we go. They're actually quite nice. And that is sprue A. Okay, there's our drive sprockets, like I said. You never know. Look, oh, there's that. Those things might already be covered over at the side on the thing, on the hull. So we might have no filling at all to do up at that section. Some nice little detail there on some form of part of the suspension. Nice little detail. Pick out some of that quite nicely. And there's no ejector pin marks on anything that's going to be shown. So that's sprue A. It looks quite nice. Now we're on to the double bag. Right. We got our first sprue, which is sprue C. Am I sure it's C this time, John? Yes, it is sprue C. We've got hatch covers, some nice little pre-molded on detail there. If that was a dragon kit, that would be about 12 pieces of on. We've got the back, which is, you know, those bolts are nicely detailed onto that. And some mountings and things. That's the exhaust, I think. Some S-hooks for the tow cables, or Pioneer tools. Quite nice wire cutters this time. The one with the Panzer was quite horrible. Cleaning rods, a hitchet, the jack, which appears all to be pre-made and in one piece. Yep, it's all there, nothing to add on to that. Fire extinguisher. I think I'm not going, like I said, I'm not going to say what things are. unless I specifically knew, and I do not know what that little tube is. But I'm sure I'll find out. Obviously I will, because I'll be building it quite shortly. And all these parts seem to be quite nice. There's no flash. Detailing on them is quite nice. It's deep enough that you can dry brush and hold a nice wash and get some nice effects. So that's sprue C. And the last of our sprues is sprue B, and that contains the two sides and the top of the turret with the hatches, the hull, the top of the hull itself with some diamond plate there nicely edged onto it, and it's quite deep too, so that will hold up nicely. And yeah, that looks quite nice. Looks quite nice indeed. And like I said, there isn't really that much to it. A lot of the stuff is pre-molded on for you. There's the barrel, which is, there you go, look, bored out and all. Lovely, just the tiniest little bit of cleanup to get that little thing there. You can nearly pick it off with your finger. So, there, that is actually quite nice. Looking forward to get some started on that. And we've got the decal sheet. Oh, look at the whiteness of that. Right, we've got the Tamiya decals. We've got some numbers, some unit markings. We've got our crosses from the bare white cross that was very, very early, which I think is the one I'm going to do, because they started off going into Poland and they had the white crosses with no markings on them, as in no black parts and things like that. And it was like a big target on the side of the tanks. And they decided not to do it after that. They realised, and then what they did was they blacked out the cross, and then they ended up with this symbol here. But initially they had that one there. Now these things were used from 1939 right up until the end of the war. The howitzer on the front was designed for infantry support. It wasn't actually designed to take out another tank, but they actually did in the early parts of the war. But as the war sort of progressed on, they started meeting heavier armour and stuff, that the little gun wasn't that strong. It's a 7.5 centimeter, which is we call a 75 millimeter gun. It was howitzer, and it was designed for firing high explosive for anti-personnel use. It didn't have the muzzle velocity enough to sort of penetrate the newer armour. But for what it met in 1939, those things were quite awesome indeed. So there's our instructions. You get a lovely little write-up here on the Panzer IV. I'm not going to go into it all now, because right, some nice little drawings there of what is what, which is another lovely idea. We got the pull-out instructions, construction of, like everything else, wheels, the back, make our tub, attach our wheels, attach the things at the back, finish off the top of that, add that yoke, stick the cat into the kettle and put the kettle on to boil. There we go, all our bits step by step, simple instructions. And even though I haven't actually made this kit before, it's to me, I know it's going to just pop together quite nicely indeed. And finally then, we've got the construction of our turret, the gun. It gives the gun mantle and things like that, and the breech and stuff. Yeah, melty tracks, pop our turret on to that, or made, and then stick on our decals, decals, transfers, stickers, and we get a sprue map of part and list of which is very, very handy, because, you know, it'll build up your knowledge of what different things are. So I brought my knowledge up anyway. And you got your parts, callouts, your sprue maps, and there we go. That's what you get. So it's a lovely little kit. It's an old one, and I don't actually know when it's from. I've been looking for a date on it everywhere, and I can't find one. Usually they're quite they have their dates in the same place, but unfortunately on this one I have not found a date anywhere. But to the best of my knowledge, and I probably will be wrong, but this was a 70s kit, 75, 76, around that time. But like I said, I haven't found anything to change my mind on that. It's usually printed on the box, and I have searched this box and I cannot find it. Now I know I am blind, which doesn't. No, I found a date, 1977 Tamiya. So I was only a year out. 1977. I remember where I was in 1977. I was at an International Scout Jamboree, 1977, Jamboree. I was all of 12 years of age. But anyway, that's our Tamiya kit of the Panzer IV Ausf, all ready for construction. So next time you see this, it will have at least be half made. You know me, I get carried away, I do bits and won't do anything for a couple of days, and then suddenly get all stuck in, there she is finished and everything else, and shock the living daylights out of everybody. So a nice little bit of plastic there to play around with and fiddle with. We've got our decals into the box, and finally our instructions. Like I said, we've got a set of Japanese instructions, which I am not interested in, and our instruction sheet. And did I record any of that? I did. I just for a second there thought I wasn't even recording. Anyway, lads, that's it. That's the inbox review for the Tamiya Panzer Kampfwagen. There we go. Panzer Kampfwagen 4 Ausf. And so far it looks a nice little kit. I'm going to do it in the old German grey, but like I said, the invasion of Poland, why not? There's a lot of Polish in Ireland, so the Polish invasion of Ireland, I'll do the German invasion of Poland. All invasions. Anyway, catch you up in the next one, and sorry to say, I'll catch you up with the build review on this one. Hopefully in a couple of days' time. So anyway, this one for the file of what's in the box. So, like and subscribe if you haven't already. I know unboxing's kind of a bit boring, unless you're actually intending on getting the kit, but it's there for future reference anyway. So, catch you up later, lads. John Moore, signing off.